The Diner Prince lives quietly among mortals in the vibrant, sleek 1980s, an era driven by the pursuit of having it all. Though she's come into her full powers, she maintains a low profile by curating ancient artifacts and only performing heroic acts incognito. Did Wonder Woman 1984 stick the superhero landing? Find out on this episode of For the Blurcher. What's going on, everybody out there? My name is RJ, and I'm joined by my usual suspects, my host Trey
What is going on?
and Jake.
What it do? What it do?
Before we get started, I want to encourage everybody that's watching to go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, and as well as that notification bell, so that way you stay up to date on all things For the Blurcher. We had a lot going on. We have a lot of content that we're pumping out. We want you to stay tuned. So make sure you go ahead and hit that notification bell, because that's very important in order to stay updated with our latest videos. All right, so now that we have gotten all of the formalities out of the way, let's talk about Wonder Woman 1984. Now, I got a lot to say about Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh yeah, we know.
Completely honest. Yeah, I got a lot to say about it. But I'm not gonna go too hard, because at the end of the day, this is somebody's art. But I am gonna be honest about how I felt about this movie. And for us to be waiting for this long, I was expecting a little more. So as always, what I want to do is start with, let's start with the positive things that we liked about Wonder Woman 1984. Yeah, I'm gonna kick this to one of you. I'm gonna kick this to Jake. What did you like about Wonder Woman 1984?
So honestly, one thing I liked about it was the references, more than anything, actually. Just because I like continuity and how everything connected, and I think in the next film we'll probably see a little bit more heroes join in and like kind of form like a little small Justice League, maybe. I hope there's a cameo. That'd be really cool, because I think it'll make the movie just a little bit better, because I think you do have to have those like small cameos. So I think the reference is what I liked with this film the best.
Okay, all right. What about you, Trey? What did you like? Because I know you liked it a little better than we did. So I'm curious as to what you found appealing about Wonder Woman 1984.
So overall, I like the movie. Do I see there's stuff wrong with it? Yes, but I liked the action. When we had action, I thought the moments that they intended to be humorous were pretty funny. There was an overall kind of, I don't know, I kind of like the story of it, even though the characters, I feel like, kind of messed it up slightly. But
okay,
I just think overall it was pretty good. The CG was good. The lasso, I thought the lasso was dope. I wanted to see more of her as a kid. I will say that. I wanted to see more of her as a warrior. But I just liked it. It was kind of a cool little movie.
Yeah. I get that. There's some aspects that I will say Wonder Woman 1984 that I did find appealing. I do like the fact that we got to see Wonder Woman come into a little bit more power than what we've seen her in, Justice League, and then the original Wonder Woman. That was good. Now, did I like how it happened or how they did it? We'll save that for later on in the video. But I do like the fact that we kind of get Wonder Woman. They kind of gave her like a power up, which is what is much needed, because all the iterations that we've seen of Wonder Woman, she's this powerful warrior, and I've never believed that. Not to say, because I think Gal's portrayal of Wonder Woman is great, but I wish we could. I liked Wonder Woman 1984 because now I feel like what this did was this put her on the correct power level that she should be on. Because Wonder Woman can do a lot more than what she was doing in Batman versus Superman and Justice League, and in Wonder Woman she can do a lot more. So I'm glad we're kind of getting to see this Wonder Woman. Another thing I did like about Wonder Woman 1984 was probably the costume design. I forgot the person who's in charge of the costume design, but they did an excellent job on the super suit.
I agree.
The armor was excellent. Even the extras. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the extras were really dressed like in the 80s.
Yeah,
they did a really good job with making sure that everything fit into that universe. Like I said, there's not much that I did like about this movie, but the things that they did well. I can't really think of anything too much else that I cared for in the movie. Oh, I did like Kristen Wiig's portrayal of Cheetah. I didn't like the whole awkward, clumsy thing because I feel like it's a cliche that's done too much. Oh, I'm awkward and clumsy. My glasses. I have glasses. And then all of a sudden, black glasses. Yeah. I didn't like that whole cliche thing because they've done that a couple of times. Jamie Foxx and Electro. I'm a nerd, but now I'm powerful. They do it a lot. Example. It's too much for me. But I really did enjoy her when she did come into her own as Cheetah. And Wonder Woman's probably her biggest adversary, in my opinion, is Cheetah. And I like how we finally get her introduced into this DC universe, DC live action universes. I'm not sure if that's the first. I'm not sure if the old school Wonder Woman had Cheetah in it because I didn't watch it. I wasn't old enough.
I don't think so, man.
I don't think so.
She was mainly just in the Justice League animated series. And then,
okay.
Other than that, I mean, she really is a main villain. But one of the things I will say about the good thing I will say about this film is that the world building was really good. They did kind of give you that feeling that you felt like you were in the 80s because you had the old school roller skates and you saw Cheetah with the workout pants on and in the weight room. So they did a good job with making you feel like you're in the 80s. But I think there's just some other things that were kind of just lacking. But they did a good job with the world building, in my opinion.
Yeah. Definitely. And like I said, we're not ragging on this movie by any means. We just know that. And we love DC. We just are. I think at this point we're just expecting more from them because when they put out an animated, movie, it's a banger. I've never seen. Sorry for the Killing Joke. I didn't care for that one. But DC always puts out bangers when it comes to their animated, and I feel like if we just get that energy into the live action DC, it'd be a wrap, bro. It'd be over. So I don't want y'all to think we're just straight hating. We love DC. We have a passion for DC. We catch us on Hero Harrison Talk every Friday where we talk about all things DC and Marvel too. We alternate weeks with that. So, nice little plug for you there. Go ahead and follow at Hero Harrison Talk on Instagram. Stay up to date with the latest podcast right there. All right, cool. Now that plugs through. All right, so let's talk about see, I slid that in there, little promo, teamwork makes the dream work.
Nah, I like that.
But now that we talked about the good, let's talk about the not so good.
Okay, RJ, I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna pass it on to Trey.
He's ready to go. He is ready to go.
Because Trey, I was talking to Trey about it in a little bit, and he has something to say. So let's let Trey go first, and then you and I'll break something.
So yeah, the not so good. There's definitely some parts in there. Which again, guys, overall I like the movie, but I'm gonna talk about it. So first thing I want to point out, when Wonder Woman, first of all, this is spoilers, so if y'all aren't into spoilers, you might just
I'll put a spoiler warning at the beginning. Yeah, we're good.
You might just want to, whatever. So when she turns the plane invisible. But I liked the plane being invisible, but when she started doing the thing, if y'all have seen Dragon Ball Evolution, the trash of a movie, when Goku is channeling his ki, that little air, whatever it was supposed to be, that's what it looked like to me. And I was just like, what is she doing? Is she about to do Kamehameha?
A great value Kamehameha wave.
A great value Kamehameha, and I just thought that was pretty interesting. And I also just overall the everything happens in this timeline, and no one really, when you rewatch the movies, no one talks about any of this that happened. This happened worldwide in this movie, so you'd think it would be mentioned in the other movies at least a little bit, like that incident that happened in the 80s that was crazy, or something, like just something in the background. Like that's where I feel like DC misses off and Marvel kind of picks up, because Marvel can go back to previous movies and connect it to their newer movies and stuff like that. But with this one, they made a newer movie in the past that just doesn't, it seems just disconnected from the main universe.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
and that's what bothered me. And I think we were talking about this last time. It kind of, to me, it disconnects the entire DC universe, because normally we get to hear like this. Like, this was a global thing. Like nukes were launched, like war was declared on, nations, and to have, the other DC movies that are set in the modern era, I feel like it was pointless to set this movie in 1984. They could have really just done this in the modern era and then, called it a day. Like, what was so special about it? I think that's what bothers me. What was so special about the year 1984? I don't know if it's something that we missed, but this is something that could have took place in 2020, 2019, 2018, however, whatever you want to call it. There was nothing special about the year 1984. And all it did for me was it kind of took away, the continuity, because like we said, this is not mentioned at all in Justice League, Batman vs. Superman, Aquaman, Suicide Squad. No one mentions 1984 at all. And also going to what you said about the Invisible Jet, what bothered me about that is some movies have a really bad habit of dumping exposition on you as something is happening. The coffee, I what did she say? I did this on a coffee cup one time, and she almost said like it was a parlor trick. Yeah, like she was like, it was almost like, is this your card? I did this before. It was almost like a magic trick that she just did at a cocktail party one time, and watch this. I can, like, it just didn't make any sense for me, and for me it came out of nowhere. I don't know if there's something maybe I missed in the previous movie, but I feel like this kind of came out of left field for me, and it bothered me that, okay, you made a coffee cup disappear one time after trying for God knows how long, but now all of a sudden you're gonna make a whole jet that's moving at God knows what speed disappear. It just didn't sit right with me.
We should have had a training montage.
Yeah, there was no montage or nothing of her doing it with a spoon or nothing. She just made a jet disappear out of nowhere, which is cool. I'm glad we got the invisible jet, and it was clever how they worked it in. I think what they should have done was kind of made it, kind of had her try to do it, and then she lost it, and then they got away still. And maybe in the third movie, she could figure out how to, hide the invisible jet.
Yeah.
What about you, Jake? What didn't you like about Wonder Woman?
Well, first off, I just want to say I agree with both what you both said. It's just it's not that we're hating on this film. It's just a matter of that DC, like you said, RJ, has so much potential, and like Trey said as well, that this was a film that didn't feel like it was in the same format as Batman vs. Superman, Man of Steel, Suicide Squad, all that. So I get exactly what both of you are saying. I agree completely. But in my opinion, personally, for me, it was the action. I'm really big on action because one thing is like the dialogue is always going to be there. Sometimes it can be corny, but it just depends on what writers you bring in. But at the end of the day, we still have to see our superheroes punch people, and we have to feel that in the movie theater. Because when you feel somebody get punched, you got to feel that, right? Like in the theater, you feel that bass. This movie, for me personally, I had surround sound and stuff too. It still didn't hit me because I think that this movie is a matter of how they're trying to introduce this character. They're trying to flush it out too fast, and they're trying to force things a little bit, and they're not focusing on the right things. And the action is a huge part of it. And I just think that didn't draw me in as much because there was just some scenes where I'm just like they're a little kind of over exaggerated. Like when they were in the mall, for example, she like runs around the corner to like take out that guy. Like the guy saw her come. He could have ran or something. But he just stood there and just looks at her like this. And she gets she trips him up and then catches him or whatever. But it's just there's times where I'm like, you need to like punch this guy, and he's go like flying 30 feet in the air. You know what I'm saying? And like, because I think that takes away from the from who she is. I think they kind of tone her down a little bit in this film.
Yeah.
In both films, really, and I don't like that. I don't like her being toned down. Last example, I didn't like how when she was getting shot at, because she was losing her powers, she didn't really feel that like getting shot at. When she got shot at, she just kind of like put her shoulder down. She didn't hit, like, you know, bang back or like fall back, fall, and like feel it, or she wasn't even like really damaged.
Yeah.
And I want to see Wonder Woman get beat up. I want to see Wonder Woman get hit. I don't want to see her just be pretty. I want to see blood dripping down from her lip. I want to see her with a black eye in her eye. I want to see her glasses being punched off. And I mean, but to end what I was saying, really, it was just the action for me, because it has to hit in every single film, and it just didn't hit for me. And this film overall was just not what I expected. The story could have been a little bit better, obviously, but that's all I gotta say.
Yeah. One thing too, I guess, like, and not being nitpicky, but little things just don't add up. I guess she's trying to be incognito. Why? I don't know. Maybe there's a reason for it. I don't know why she's trying to be incognito. But when she broke the security cameras in the mall, I'm like, ma'am, that's not how security cameras work. You just don't break the camera and now there's no footage of you. There's a whole computer that these cameras are linked to. So it like little things like that to me just didn't make sense.
Also,
yeah.
Also in the chase scene, they pull up next to a dude and she's Diana Prince. No one knows she's Wonder Woman at this point.
Yeah.
And then they get behind her. Boom, there's Wonder Woman. Not even like masked up or anything. Like, you can totally clearly see her face.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you're Wonder Woman. Like,
yeah.
The secret identity blown.
I'd rather her be in costume 24/7 than to have this alter ego. But just the way it's done in the movies, because it doesn't make any sense. You know, okay, you had a ponytail, now your hair is down. Oh, who's that? And then we know your face hasn't changed. But like with Black Lightning, they kind of explain that the mask kind of distorts his face, so that's why people don't see who Black Lightning is. But with Wonder Woman, you know, I don't understand this whole kind of alter ego thing with her, because I just and maybe it's my inability to suspend my disbelief, but I don't understand how people don't catch on that this is her. Another thing that I didn't care for was the story of the armor. I felt like they tried to shove everything into one movie.
Yeah.
And for me, it just felt really rushed. I feel like that story of the armor really could have been, you know, that could have been a whole movie in itself. Maybe they could have pushed it to 3, and Cheetah found out about this armor, Nubia found out about this armor, and Wonder Woman found out about this armor, and they're all trying to search for this armor, one to take over the world, one to destroy the world, and one to save the world. They could have done something like that, but instead they shoved this armor in, and then Cheetah tore it apart in like 5 minutes. It just didn't make any sense to me, and it bothered me. Another thing, since while we're on the subject of Cheetah, is I didn't understand, like, I didn't like the villains, because I felt like Wonder Woman was never in danger of losing. Same thing what you said, Jake. I want to see Wonder Woman struggle. I want to see her, you know, get knocked down. Although she did get, you know, beat up, you know, here and there, and, you know, by Cheetah, I never felt like Wonder Woman wasn't going to win. And with the first movie, I felt like there's a possibility that she could take this L. And what bothered me about these villains was, if she wanted to, she could have taken the main villain and flung him across the room. You know, it just, none of it made any sense to me as far as like it being a legitimate or credible threat to Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and to piggyback off just one last thing I was going to say is that I think Patty Jenkins is trying to focus on the lightheartedness of the film. So I think she doesn't want to make it too dark for her viewers, which kind of sucks, because it takes away the aspect of what she could be, you know, the Wonder Woman that we want her to be, the Wonder Woman that we know she can be. And it's kind of disappointing, because we don't like toned down characters as DC, because with DC they tell these great stories, dark stories, gritty stories, and they turn them into magic. It's just the way they're told, and the characters that are in it, and the plot. So I think that what's missing is the everything's being toned down in this film. It was more like a play than it was like, you know, an action film, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Or you know what someone said, and I think I told you this trailer when we were talking yesterday. Someone has said that Wonder Woman 1984 feels like an extra episode of Charmed. It kind of had that it kind of had that feel where it was like, oh, here's an artifact that we're trying to get to. You know, it just felt like the story felt very small. When you like okay, I'll use the Rugrats movie as an example. When they were making the Rugrats movie or the Hey Arnold, when they were making the Hey Arnold movie. Recess. We'll use Recess. Sorry, I keep jumping. We use Recess. Yeah. When they were thinking about making a Recess movie, they had to think of something that was big enough to move it to the big screen, you know? And I feel like they didn't do that with Wonder Woman. I felt like they took a story that could have been an episode of Charmed and just stretched it a little bit more and then put it on the big screen rather than having something that was massive, you know? I'm pretty sure that Endgame story is something that can only be told in a theater, you know? And I feel like they need to kind of do things like that with DC. Stop looking for these small stories and look for these bigger stories to put on screen, because that's what's going to translate well from a script to a television, is if the story or the problem is big enough to be a movie. And do I think that the problem was big enough to be a movie for Wonder Woman 1984? No, it was a long episode of Charmed or Supernatural.
Exactly, and that's the problem, because I think that what, like you said, is like with the television, it's just that, you know, you get shows like Crisis on Infinite Earths, which you can turn to a film. It could be a whole different, huge, like multiverse thing, which we won't. But and then you get shows like Supergirl, Flash. I'm not saying they're terrible shows. I'm just saying that it's just these stories are not being fleshed out as what they can be, and these properties have the rights now. So it's kind of like, well, I guess they're gonna just sit over there and tell their stories, and we're just gonna keep doing our thing over here. So. Yeah,
we tried, y'all. We did. we tried. I
mean, it's not a bad film. I would give it, you know, honestly, a 7 out of 10. It's just, I just don't like movies that are toned down.
Yeah. You know what I will say though, one thing I liked about Cheetah that they kind of started to do, but kind of fizzled out at the end.
Yeah.
Her character development was, I think it was pretty good. Like, it was kind of cheesy, her being like the dork, clumsy, whatever. But even if she wasn't, you can just tell her personality change.
Yes.
To where she almost like kills this drunk guy, and she just wants to be, you know, a baddie and be powerful and all this stuff. And then I feel like it kind of just lost it at the end, to where when she like rebuked her wish or whatever. Which, you know, I hope they bring her back, because I'd really like to see her character development, because I feel like she could get way darker.
Definitely, and I feel like Cheetah has a more of a story to tell. So I hope this is not the end of the road. One more thing: is Wonder Woman impervious to electrocution?
Well,
you know what?
So
especially with a metal suit on, I don't understand that. I felt like you're both in the water. Like, what?
And she was also lassoing lightning bolts, which I just thought of just now.
So does it not travel through the lasso, or does it not touch her in water? Because I don't understand that. When she held Cheetah underwater to be electrocuted, how did she not get electrocuted?
So the Asterian armor is technically, it can like protect you from all like elements, you know, electricity, fire, blah blah blah, cold. So,
but not Cheetah claws, because she clearly ripped the armor apart in like 10 minutes. Legendary armor in like 10 minutes.
I know.
I was gonna say also, doesn't she have like some power of the gods in her? Too. So maybe it's some kind of
that's why. But I feel like for them to make such a big deal out of this suit, like they told the whole story, gave some exposition, and then the suit was like useless in the end. Like, it just, I felt like, why did you tell that story? Why did you have that happen? The suit didn't save the day. Like, what was the point of it all?
It's like the Hulkbuster armor in Age of Ultron. It ultimately didn't stop the Hulk.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so why you bring it up then? Why you bring it up? So yeah, I mean, overall, like I said, Wonder Woman does have its problems. I think that I hope as of now, Patty Jenkins is returning for a third Wonder Woman. Hopefully, she kind of gets some. Yeah, it's already been announced. Yep. Hopefully, she gets some help on the writing, because I want to say her last, not to say she hasn't written anything since 2000, but I think her last actually credit as a writer was like in early 2000, and that kind of shows because that's kind of what we got in the early 2000s in terms of superhero movies, was very basic level, like exposition dump, superhero movies. So hopefully the writing in Wonder Woman 3 will be a little better. Hopefully they bring back Cheetah or Nubia. I can't wait. So while we're here, I want to get you guys' final thoughts and give me a rating from 1 to 5 of what you thought about Wonder Woman 1984.
Go ahead, Trey.
All right. So ultimately, overall, I like the movie. I thought
5 is the top now. 5 is the top. Yeah.
5 is the top.
Yeah.
Okay. So
sky's the limit.
Dang, lost my train of thought. You, Jake, you go.
Okay. Yeah. So 3 out of 5 because I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. But it's just one of those films where if you see potential, when it comes to like with the novel or, comics or whatever format the original is, I think it's best to stick to that. Because the thing is that you can still keep it modern and make your movie just as good with bringing old school elements into it. They did a good job of that, but I think that what they need to do is stick to the true nature of who a character really is, not just for whatever the reason to please the audience. So that's my opinion.
Okay.
All right. So now I'll give it a 3.2 because I liked it. I liked it overall, but there's definitely some issues with it. I had a big issue with where they kind of fizzled out the character development in a lot of the characters, and there's just some unexplained things that you kind of just accept. But yeah, 3.2. That's what
3.2.
That's my
okay. That's a little high. In my opinion.
What you got, RJ?
Okay. And I think
RJ
this is kind of
2.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning at. Two. I'll say this. I'll give it a 2.6.
Okay.
And the reason I give it a 2.6 is I feel like in this day and age where movies and where you have access to the comics, you have access to your fans. But think about it. Back in the early 2000s, social media wasn't around. You couldn't really gauge what the fans were expecting. But in this day and age, what fans are expecting. What the comics are like. You have access to the source material. It's easily attainable, and I feel like we know what a good movie is. So for me, with all the knowledge at your fingertips, and this is what you produce after all of our time waiting, and as big as the DC universe is supposed to be, I feel like, especially, I was really rooting on Wonder Woman. I feel like it's one of the better DC movies, and I was expecting more from it. So I think being that my expectations were set so high, that's why I have to go to 2.6, only because I feel like the plot was straight weak sauce. The villains were weak sauce. I feel like the exposition, wasted storylines with Cheetah, the armor, the invisible jet. I feel like it was all crammed into this movie for the sake of being crammed into a movie. So that's why I have to give this movie a 2.6. Hopefully we'll get a better, a better movie, and Wonder Woman, 3 hopefully is set in modern times, and hopefully they'll mention 1984. But for me and what I think about this movie, I just was not a fan of it. So there you have it.
Understandable.
Yeah.
There you have it.
So, yeah, there you have it. Those are our thoughts. Oh, gotta chill. My bad. All right, take 2. All right, so those are my those are our thoughts on Wonder Woman 1984. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends. Most importantly, subscribe. Follow us across all social media platforms. Before we go, I want to give my co-host a chance to plug their social medias. Jake, where can we find you at?
You can follow me on Instagram at Hero Harrison Talk. You can follow me on Snapchat at Hero Harrison. You can follow me as well on my new Facebook page. I'm about to be is coming up. It's Hero Harrison Official. So that's going to be going up, and I'm about to start a YouTube page pretty soon. That's going to be same thing, Hero Harrison, but I'm not on there right now, so don't follow me. But it's an upcoming project. But stay tuned, yeah.
Stay tuned.
We got some good stuff coming in for the new year. A lot of content, y'all. So just stay on Hero Harrison Talk and make sure you, both my co-hosts, RJ and Trey, are gonna be on there all the time. So we got some good stuff.
Cool. What about you, Trey? Where can we find you at?
You guys can find me on Instagram at maximum_spider. That's maximum_spider, because I had to put a little flavor on it, you know. And I'm also on
SPIDAH.
AH, you know, put it on a long sleeve, put it in a song. We can do it. You can also get me on TikTok, and that is Spiderboy Trey. That's Spiderboy with 2 I's instead of a Y, because I had to be different.
No.
And then you can also get me on Facebook at my Trey Mosley official page. And yeah, also follow us on TikTok for the Blurcher. All social media forms for the Blurcher. That's where you can find us, guys.
All right. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Avatar Rating. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you guys soon. With that being said, have a great evening, and remember, Blurred is Bond.
Blurred is Bond.
Blurred is Bond.